God. We've
Coming
got
back.
Reed.
We're coming back.
Travis, we've come back for you.
I think we're
Big
back.
Daddy.
Big
Big
Daddy, where you
Papa.
at? Big
Big
Papa.
Papa.
Big Papa, come back. So I don't know what's gonna happen because now there's gonna be 2 videos because YouTube uploads automatically twice.
Yep.
And
Yep. It's coming up. I just got a notice right now.
So
That's
here's
right.
video number
Oh.
2. What happened? Well,
What happened?
we were talking about something that apparently is cursed. I don't know. My entire computer network just died. And after a good amount of troubleshooting, Dennis was doing some Googling for me. What's strange is Discord kept working that entire time. So I couldn't connect to any website. I couldn't stream. It's like, I don't know. But Discord and our video kept working. So I have no idea how long we were talking with the stream down. But hey, we're back. Kaz, you're back. Yes, I don't know what happened, but we'll just dive back in. No, we're not bad. Well done, Dennis. Okay, see ya. Perfect. Well, what do we want to? What were we talking? We were still. Should we just hop right back to Nap Arcade, or we'll skip it?
Nap Arcade. Yeah. We'll go to 2.0 games.
Greg is a go. Yeah, we're back. So we'll just keep going here. But all right. So did he?
It was difficult to overcome these challenges, but Joel harnessed his inner ramps from Deeproot and brought us back. Yes. If you don't like this voice, write into the Pinball Network at gmail.com and tell Dennis to stop using it.
Please don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. What was the fix? The fix was a solid. I rebooted the router, and that did nothing. But then I saw
the router reboot.
I saw that the router actually had a potential update. So I said, "What the heck? Let's update the router," and that fixed it. All right. So 2.0 games. So I know, Dennis, you discussed this a little bit on Click to Gamers podcast. Right now, what do we already had Bride of Pinbot 2.0. Jeff Slack, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Brian, that's a good question. We'll get to that. But so we had Pinbot 2.0, and then Tales of the Arabian Night 2.0. We've had Funhouse 2.0. Mm-hmm. And they talked about Whirlwind 2.0. So the thought I had in my head was
Fathom 2.0.
Fathom 2.0. So what's a game that has like a really good layout and really good toys, but the part of the game that's lacking is the code. And the first thing that popped in my head were Judge Dredd. That's an interesting one, right? But what popped into my head were like John Papaduke games. Like, people love Theater of Magic. People love Tales of the Arabian Night. People love Circus Voltaire. Like, unique layouts, great toys, but most people complain about the rules. So I don't personally. I think Tales of the Arabian Nights is a smart move to. I don't know. Do you guys? What do you guys think about that?
For someone to do as a vault or something like that?
Well, I mean, look at Mirko. Mirko has its own issues, right? Mirko, just the fact that it's Mirko doing this, and Dennis, you and Tony kind of went into this. I don't really care. I don't really care who's doing it. It's just the fact that there are games that people have in their collections that are good games. They shoot well. They have good mechs. They have good toys, but if they improve the code, if they modernize the code, would it elevate that game? Would it skyrocket it? So Kaz is saying Star Wars Episode 1 2.0 now with purple lightsaber. Nice. But genuinely, what's a game that has a good layout, good toys, good mechs, but it's the code. The code's the thing that's holding it back. And is there a chance that 2.0 is what's needed to potentially launch that? Is there any game that comes to mind between either of you guys that could really do that?
Well, I mean, that's basically almost everything from the 90s or before, though. Mm-hmm. Setting aside the bad layout games, obviously. But, I mean, the code, even Williams, which was the best balanced of them all, still weren't particularly well balanced. Like, Attack from Mars might be their best balanced game, even Medieval could have used new code to not prioritize the castle all day strategy quite so much, for example.
Okay.
If you're, I guess the ones where I think would be the best lift would be more of the BC tier rather than the A tier, which sort of sell themselves, which again would be the biggest issue with Totan was, well, the rules definitely could use an improvement. Totan's already a super valuable game.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking things like Shadow, a number of the super pins would make a lot of sense. BSD could use some code rework.
Well, Shadow is perfect. Shadow is pretty good. Yeah, Zach wants a Popeye 2.0. But now, I mean, so like Munsters, right? I don't want to go too much, but like Munsters, nobody complains about the mechs and nobody complains about the layout. Like it shoots, it's a fun game. The art is great, the mechs are great, but the reality is if that game, if Dwight came out and did a full revamp on the code and all of a sudden gave that, similar depth and complexity as, I don't know, something like, let's say a Batman 66, something like that, where it's all so many TV, like if somebody really went all out on that code, now all of a sudden that game is going to be sought, like you would think it would be super sought after. Congo's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, like Ghostbusters. I mean, look at the change that Ghostbusters had when the revamp happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. It depends how far you want to take it, and what For me, if we're talking a 2.0 sort of effort, if that's breathing life into old games,
yeah,
like competitively, I'd say System 11 would be where I'd probably start. There were a lot of them made. Almost every single one of them needs revised code. Now, a lot of them do have revised code, though. Soren ROMs, for example, that do exist. But it's a question of, are we just talking like fixing flaws, or kind of like what happened with Haggis and like Fathom Revisited is like, here's sort of like a modern rule set on a game that never could have supported it back then.
I mean, that's going back pretty far, right? Like going all the way back to Fathom, but just so like Funhouse 2.0. Funhouse 2.0 swaps out a part of the playfield, so now there's a little mini like LCD screen on the playfield, and it swaps out the entire back panel. So instead of having a DMD, you have a video, like there's an LCD screen in the back panel. So imagine taking a game like Addams Family. Addams Family, so many people love that game. It's nostalgic. They think it's really cool, but then they own it and they realize you can tour the mansion, like once you've done that, and it's like, okay, is this really going to stay in my collection? Well, the only reason it's going to stay in my collection is nostalgia. Like it's not, you've already seen the whole game. So if Addams Family all of a sudden got the same treatment that Funhouse did, where the entire back panel is replaced with an LCD screen, and now there's, whether it's animated characters, Addams Family, like completely different depth, like that would sell crazy well. I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
I guess in a like a cash grabby sort of way, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are all kits for like, because that's the context you're creating. Unlike a Fathom Revisited, these are kits, so you have to already have the game. And what's the problem with Addams Family? I mean, from a commercial perspective, what would be better? 20,000 potential, in theory, potential units. Obviously, not all of those have survived over the years, but it is an incredibly well-produced game. So from if I'm trying to make money, it's probably the smartest 2.0 kit to do, but that game is already ridiculously overpriced.
You would suck to lose Addams Family. Yeah, Pinball. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, man? 2022 ROMs for NBA Fast Break. To modernize NBA Fast Break would be really interesting. The art, though, is still... but that actually brings up a really good point. Okay, if you're Haggis and you're saying, I'm going to make a new game, I'm going to remake a game, I want, you probably don't want to pick a game there's already a gazillion of them out there. So they went really smart with Fathom, because Fathom was already sought after, but there weren't a ton out there for people to use. And if, hey, what can push people to buy this even more? Let's give them another code option. That remaking a game from scratch is one option, but if you're going to do a kit, you probably want to pick the popular games, right? Like you want to pick the games that people have and are hoarding in their collection. And that's why I think like Tales of Arabian Nights is probably a really smart kit to do, because those are very highly sought after and a ton of people have them. So if either of you guys own a Tales of the Arabian Night, what do you think your chances are of buying that kit? Because in my mind, it's pretty high. Like even Carrie Hardy on his YouTube channel, he owns a Toad-an, and he was kind of knocking some of the art, but he's like, but hey, if the code's pretty good, I already got the game, let's throw it on there, right? I mean, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting thought of if these kits really take off. Like, if I had the game, if I owned the game and I knew I could spend $1,000 or $1,500 and bring new life into the game, or give, now I drop this whole new code package on top. Like, I would love to. Like, my issue now in the hobby is not necessarily money investing into the hobby; it's space. So if I can pay more money to make the games I own do more, I would probably do that. And that's what I do see value in these kits.
Oh no, I mean they'll move units is the thing. And I think that's what bothered people about the aspect you don't care about, Joel, and that's the Mirko aspect, is that as frustrated as people are with Mirko for playfield reasons, this will sell because it will be the only source to get the Totan 2.0.
Yeah.
And that's how pinball works.
Jeff said, in spending money on new code, you'll get that back when you sell. Absolutely. I mean, you can immediately be like,
I think we'll continue to see a wave of 2.0 kits, would be my guess. And it'll pitter out kind of color DMD style once you start getting to the lower counts. I mean, I remember years ago I reached out to Color DMD to see about me doing a one for Sharky Shootout, and they were like, "We've never had a request for that game," and they only made what, I don't even remember how many units it was. It wasn't all that many, 800 maybe. And so it's like, they have to draw a line at some point as well, like when it's no longer worth the investment of time on that versus the sales. And the same thing will happen with the 2.0 kits. Even if there are fans that might go in and do something like Transporter the Rescue, a low production System 11 game, no one would want to bring it to market because there's just not enough you could make to. How many are still around? How many of those owners will actually do the upgrade? How many, it's not 100%. So high volume stuff is where I think that will go. The only thing that surprised me wasn't all the wave of 2.0 kits. It's that every single one is being manufactured by someone else.
That is weird. But yet there is one overarching company, right, that is making money from this, and it's Planetary Pinball, right? I mean, they have the license, but they're kind of looking at it as like, we don't care. We're going to get our piece of the pie regardless of who makes it. Yeah, so take it.
There's not a good quality control vibe I get when you're giving every single person that comes to you permission to do the kit. I guess so long as you use the fast mission framework.
Well, it is very different though, because like the kit that you have to buy for Funhouse is an entirely new back panel. So that's new speakers, a new display that you're adding into the game. There's a new board you're swapping out in the back box. I mean, it's very involved. While I haven't seen this, that they're going to talk about it at TPF, but I'm assuming the Toad-an kit, it doesn't, like, the new back panel is not it just looks like it's a graphic. Like, I think you can still use your normal DMD. I think it's just a board that you're swapping out. So, I don't know. There's different levels here. Like Whirlwind doesn't even have. It's not like Whirlwind now has an LCD screen. I didn't see the Whirlwind 2.0 kit. I'm assuming that's
it. Did it had a DMD or something. It wasn't the System 11 screen.
Okay. Yeah. If you touch Mystery Castle code, I'll cut you. No, Jeff, you realize Zach's issue with Mystery Castle had nothing to do with the code. It was the fact that it didn't have a topper. So we just get Mystery Castle a topper and we're good. I don't know. I just think,
and Totan didn't it? It had new video modes and they had color.
So
that game didn't come with a color DMD.
True. Maybe it is. So maybe you do have to have a new display. But I mean, well, let's think back to the original remakes, right? I mean, I understand when Chicago Gaming did Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars and Monster Bash, they didn't redo the code. The rules and the logic are all the same, but they redid all of the art, like the graphics. It's a bigger, wider display. They've added color. I mean, they added RGB LEDs in some of the games so that the lighting changed. So they kept the rules the same, but they added. I mean, there is now a newer version of the game. They updated the game in a sense. So I don't. In my opinion, the fact that like Fathom, you can still play the original game, but if you want to play Marty's version of the code or Haggis's version of the code, Fathom 2.0, great, give me that. Like, sign me up for that. I'm all for every single time I walk up to one of these games. I love that Stern now has different options of, do you want to skip to a wizard mode? Do you want to play it with co-op? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, give me more options when I play my game. But I'm on board. I think the 2.0 is really cool. I've just, in my head, I was trying to think, is there an older game that I would justify adding to my collection if I knew it had a lot more depth that I could potentially add to the game? And I don't know that answer. We had a funeral 2 weeks ago, and we were at a hotel that happened to have pinball machines. And believe it or not, the two games that were there in the hotel on location, the three games were Theater of Magic, Circus Voltaire, and Star Wars Episode 1. So this guy liked John Papaduke. The fact that those were the three, though, that were on location, I couldn't believe that. Like, the fact that there's a Circus Voltaire in a hotel, I just don't understand why that was there. But I played the heck out of it, and it's a fun, like, it's a very unique game. It's a fun. I enjoyed the way it's shot. It's very whimsical, but in my mind, it was like, if this kind of layout could have the type of code that today's games have, that could be pretty cool. And I'm very curious to see if the Tales of the Arabian Night 2.0 kit, like, what it really brings to the table. You're whimsical. Well done, Fliptronic. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. I don't know. We'll see. I just think I think it's really interesting. And I don't see the negative to the 2.0 kits. Like, if you're an owner and you just learned that they're releasing a 2.0 kit, the demand for your game just went up. Now, if I was a Fathom owner and then I just learned that Haggis is making a new one, you'd probably be a little annoyed there, right? But I don't know. The add-on kits, I'm not seeing a downside.
A downside, yeah.
Do you agree? Disagree? Are there a game?
I'm sure we'll see a ton more of them. A ton. I mean, there's only so many of them out there, but I'm sure, like Dennis was saying, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what those licenses cost to make them. You know, you're not talking about the dollars of a full build, but
yeah, I mean, it's essentially a mod, so it's there's not really a negative. I'm not aware of things being irreversible on them. So if you need to undo it or someone wants to undo it, then there's no downside aside from the cost commitment. And if it's a useful mod, then it will retain its value when you move the game along. Now, what's the biggest risk would probably be like a new version comes out and the person who coded it was crap at code and didn't actually make a good
code's
game.
not
Like,
actually
they
fun.
have their own imbalances. A lot of these start as homebrews and are not. We don't know if these people know what they're doing or not.
Yeah,
but I don't view that as a negative. That would just be it's just a what if that we don't know.
Well, this came up on Triple Drain, and that's what the thought of, because I said, like, well, what are you going to do when Whirlwind's in a tournament, but then you realize it's not the original Whirlwind, it's the Whirlwind 2.0 code, And
I guess you'll go to Pin Tips and look it up.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Unless you forget them at home.
Well, yeah, tonight's been a weird night. I see it's midnight, and so this is normally when I'd stop streaming, but there was a solid 45-hour break there where I was resetting everything in my home network.
You needed a break.
So I'm just gonna think that everybody saw the ad video, during that time. But yeah, is there anything else? I mean, other topics, because we can go on here just a little longer. Chat, if there's anything particular you want to throw at us, let us know. But TPF,
they've been asking all night about Ballarama.
Yeah. I'm bringing that up. Dennis, you brought this up before, and we're looking at this. So
it's the latest. Look, Australia is the new hotbed.
Okay, Dennis, I'm gonna let you. Breaking news. It's Travis. Breaking news. It's gonna be something like, Joel's an idiot. Carl got partner. Hey,
congratulations!
Congrats to IE Pinball. Congrats. Well deserved. I am a fan. I am a fan of Carl. When Carl does stuff, he does
Congratulations.
He does it right. Good for him. Right here. Here we go. Here we go. Australia. So I think I first heard about this on Buffalo Pinball, their podcast. And this is straight up a Kickstarter. They are asking for support here. And Dennis brought it to my attention here. He taught me that they did a Drew from Poor Man's interviewed the Ballarama team last year. I did not know that. So they did a 4-day countdown. You start at 3, so you seem 3, 2, 1. Nah, they got to throw that 0 in there. So a 4-day countdown. And hey, here we go. The feature list is here. So Dennis, I'm gonna let you sell this for us if you want.
So now I had to earlier. I've closed these windows since then, but the dimensions, the standard size dimensions they list are very similar to a Stern. Like I pulled up the Godzilla Pro list, and if anything, this is a little smaller. So just bear that in mind. But
okay.
So it's very exciting. So we got all these RGBs. You gotta have the RGBs. I know everyone still acts like it's 2012 and are shocked when they see RGBs and still think they're like $5 a bulb, but whatever. So we got that. Got the headphone jack. People love the headphone jack on the JJP, so you got to have that. 2.1 stereo sound. We're talking cutting 1988 technology right there.
And left channel. Oh boy.
I don't know what Crackle Black body armor is, but it sounds like
amazing.
something. It sounds like something that someone with a cowl might wear to fight crime in. I like 3M. I love their Post-its, so I'm glad that they're helping create a scratch-resistant playfield. I just imagine it being a bunch of little yellow sticky notes. Reflection limiting playfield glass. So we've had Voodoo Glass.
Invisiglass.
I don't know the other name. Invisiglass.
Yeah.
And so now we got Quasi Reflecti Glass,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting. And that allows 4 players. So I'm glad we haven't sacrificed that. So they're saying this is going to be a 300 run set of games.
Yep.
And then the actual features to it amaze me. Yeah. So we've got, I guess there's some sort of fighter craft, like is it space thing? I'm getting a space vibes. There are 4 attack fighters. They're lit and they're semi-animated. So
is this like the aliens on Attack from Mars?
What's a semi-animation?
They just bounce up and down. So fighting.
Semi-animated makes me think only part of them move.
So it's like Jason in Halloween. You only have half a person. So boom, semi-animated.
Or maybe just the head moves. I don't know. Animatronic Spaceship. Oh, it says spaceship right here. So we got an animatronic spaceship ball. So I'm imagining something kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese Showbiz pizza, but shaped like a UFO and kind of creepy, like out of Guar or something, eating balls.
Okay.
Plunger with 3 real skill shots. Keith Elwin has been doing fake skill shots for years. So we're going to have some real skill shot choices for the player to engage with. 5 effing spinners.
5
on a standard dimension game.
That's every shot.
Standard dimension. So did we finally have the pointless outlane spinner? We might. Have we brought back Kingpin and put spinners on ramps? We might. May there be an orbit with 2 spinners on it? Maybe 3. I don't know. We got 5 spinners.
Maybe all 5. Maybe all 5 on one shot.
You know what's more impressive than 5 spinners? 6 flippers. Fucking Haunted House 2.0. There you go. Right there. 6 flippers. Do you know how many fun games there are with 6 flippers? I'll tell you, 0. That's how many. 0. 5 ramps. Again, this is a standard dimension game.
Yeah.
5 ramps.
1 spinner per ramp. Yep.
Ramps upon ramps. This is like Rampception. It's crazy. Oh, / wireforms. So are we saying that some of the ramps are wire, but not, and some are plastic? Or are they all wire? I don't know. And 12 standard. What is a standard target? Is that a stand up?
Well, are they?
We don't know.
Is standard like a size?
Is there air?
Yeah. Is there air? Yeah. Are they the really thin ones like they used in some of the American pinball? I don't know, but
I don't know.
What I'm seeing here, you said 6 flippers though. Are there? It doesn't say anything about more than one level. No, okay. Extensive upper fully play. I'll let you continue then. Keep going. We're not done.
So no, they I don't know why they broke it up into 2 chunks, but they've chunked it. It's been chunkified. Wow. So going to chunk 2 of the features, there's one 3 bank of 2 level flipper targets, which they're claiming is a first.
2 level flipper targets.
Yes.
So how Junkyard raises up? Not Junkyard. What am I thinking? What game?
No, this is a first. So whatever you're thinking of is wrong.
Right. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Right. Now I'm construing this as maybe stand-ups that have target, doop, doop, and then it's connected. It's all one piece, but you can hit it from the lower or the upper, and it moves back and activates the switch. That may be completely wrong, but that is how I'm interpreting it.
Okay.
Then there's an inverted drop backflip target, which I'm a little confused because the way that's described makes me think of something Zaccaria was very fond of, which were like these hanging targets. They're suspended from the top, not the bottom, and you can knock them up.
Knock them up. Like the backflip. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They flip backwards because they're suspended from above. And they're inverted because they hang rather than coming from the bottom of the playfield. 2 kickers. Amazingly, that's not a first.
No.
2 vertical up kickers, so 2 vucks.
Yeah.
A subterranean transfer, commonly referred to as a subway.
Subway center, yeah.
2 up posts. Bob Magna grab. There is what you mentioned, Joel. The extensive upper, fully playable, not partially playable, not completely playable. I think those are digs at Halloween, but you would know best, Joel, about that. 2 inter-playfield scoops. So a scoop with a moreception here. I'm guessing a scoop that then falls down into another, imagine Rush, but with a scoop hovering above it, and the ball would just drop. I mean, I don't know if that's right, but that's how I take this. 6-ball multi-ball, with 3 being released simultaneously on each playfield. So it's a 2 playfield for sure.
Oh, yeah. Pinball first.
Wow.
It's a pinball first because you know what everyone loves to do? Flipping balls on multiple playfields at the same
6
time.
at once.
It's a highlight.
Yep.
And then 12 pinballs. They're going to give you 6 spares. Because,
they're bragging
in
about that?
the world of pinball manufacturing, the hardest thing I ever have run into is getting more pinballs.
Yeah, that's a good thing they're throwing those spares in because don't want to have a flat. Do you think Joel hates Halloween as much as Zach hates competition? I don't hate Halloween. Okay, I need Tom here. Is this going to come through?
We're not talking about Halloween.
I hope people heard that.
Maybe the audience did.
Yeah.
Craig and I cannot hear such.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, it was my clip of Tom saying we're not talking about Halloween. Yeah. So.
We're not talking.
I mean, that's not even everything. They talk about how it's going to have Bluetooth. They talk about how it's going to have online. So we've got Ballarama Insider, Ballarama Outsider connected.
Okay,
that's why I'm naming it. They can use that. They don't have to pay me.
Fine print. Have we now? Okay, wow, that's very fine print.
Award system that gives you real advances in gameplay, aka achievements.
What does this say? Now we would be silly to not include the clause that specification is subject to change at the manufacturer's discretion. So here it is. But we will not lessen the complexity and challenge of what we will provide, only possibly the combination of items. None of the pinball first will ever be omitted. So they're putting it down a stamp of approval of what we're saying here is real. Yeah.
That's right. And note that it's always best from a design, for those that don't know and those that didn't catch the first part of the video that we did earlier, as we've learned from whiteboards, it's very important to commit yourself to the idea and, if anything, be slavish to it rather than putting the design first. Now, because we should be ramping up, not ramping out.
Do you think, I don't know, maybe somebody should suggest, but I'm thinking, do you think they're going to start with round 1 being easy and then have round 2 be hard? I don't know.
I think so. I'm thinking that they may want to do something. I don't know what we would call it. Perhaps a mission
Ooh.
where you would shoot something 3 times.
But you should absolutely tell the player to shoot it 3 times.
One of my favorite parts is further down in the report where they say some food for thought, because I do love food.
Here it is. Yeah,
and
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I think.
Here we go.
One of the multi-ball challenges included, how long can you keep 3 balls on both play fields?
Tick, tick,
and
tick.
I just, yes, the tick, tick, tick is nice, but I just interpreting that first sentence, it feels so like one didn't know anything about pinball to be like, think about this, a multi-ball challenge where you try and keep all of the multi-balls in, like, so every multi-ball ever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is usually your reward. I mean, firepower aside, because we're out of room on the chips. Usually there's an incentive for keeping all the balls in play, but apparently we're going to do flippers with only limited hold time, which we've seen a few other companies
not
recently
an industry
do.
first. Not an
no, but they didn't claim that. They're trying to be honest here.
No.
And we can customize our own attract mode and customize our own audio.
What?
It's further up.
Oh.
I bounce around a lot, Joel.
Customizable.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Customizable.
Well, that's worth it right
That's definitely
there.
not spelled right. So that was one thing I was trying to think of. It's like, are any of these things potentially a translation error? And then I realized, no, this is Australia. We're not translating anything.
Well, it's still English, Joel.
Yeah, but there's no Yeah.
and to Craig, these are all spelled right.
Customizable.
Yeah.
He's confused by your claims.
Well, it says color up here. No color. Yeah, they threw the U in there. So Craig, this is working. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't give us the name of the game though.
They're just teasing. They're teasing. What do we got? I guess NBN in Australia is having issues again. I don't know what NBN is. All talking, no real Yeah, serious deep. I mean, this is straight up a start. Like, they're trying to crowdfund this. This is Kickstarter, like legit Kickstarter.
Wow.
They want people to give them money because they're saying we're gonna make this. So they're hoping people read this and they're like, six flippers. Let's they take my money. Like I want to experience that. Now somebody did point out that Weird Al does have 4 lower flippers. And it has 1 upper flipper. So throw another upper flipper on Weird Al, and boom, you got a 6 flipper game.
That would have killed that layout, and you know it.
Yep. Craig, I couldn't.
There is a limit, and 6 is past it.
Yeah, Craig, I couldn't decide whether to have the new high score table entry be Time Traveler or Time Traveler with 2 L's. So I went with Time Travel (L (ER). That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you, Ray.
This thing is fascinating to me, and and poor Ballarama, they've really gotten kicked in the shins on Pinside quite a bit.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying that they do or don't deserve it. It's not my place to judge that. What I do judge is that we don't even get a sketch of the concept.
Nothing.
So all my brain can do is take all these other games I've ever experienced and see this list of stuff, and I end up envisioning this haunted house, but with an upper play field with 3 balls falling down on both, with scoops upon scoops, Inception stand-up targets, 1 hanging target, which is somehow looking different than the Zaccaria hanging targets. And in all of that, I'm getting to hear my own custom sounds going glug, 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 glug when I drain, and 3M Post-it notes everywhere to stop scratches. That's
3M,
what I see, because they haven't shown me anything.
Well,
so
luckily, we have something here that can tell us exactly how the rules should be designed.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Deep root to the rescue.
Yeah, deep root to the rescue. I don't know. After hours sounding dirty. Loser Kid, how you doing, man? I'm assuming that's Josh. At the end of the day, we need to remember the action needs to rise, okay? The key to
yes.
to a good pinball machine is right here in the middle. The action has to rise. Rising action, okay? It's
notification, not animation.
Not animation, Yeah, it's got to rise. And, here, shoot the training ramp 3 times.
Shoot the lamp.
Yeah, shoot the ramp. We got to tell the player, though. We got to communicate to the
training
player.
ramp.
Yeah, and then the last thing here, which is very important, is first round, easy, okay? But that second round, it's going to be hard. All right? if we can stick to these rules, Ray, you have this written on your wall. I know you're sitting there trying to write your stern rules, and you've gone, all right, I got that first round taken care of. But what do I do with this second round? And I know you look over on your wall and you read second round is hard. And that's where you find your inspiration. I know. I know.
And always remember to plan around things, even if you're going to be shooting your Pegasus and Manicores in live action.
Yeah. Ray has it tattooed on his arm. Not one. Yeah. Well, we talked more about this in the first half of this video tonight, but God, this is incredible. This is a actual dry erase board from, sometimes it goes very easy, medium, hard, very hard. See, Ray, that is what sets Stern apart. You know, Deep Root's over here looking at 2 levels. No, Ray's not thinking 2 levels, not 3, not 4. He's going 5. Okay, he's going 5 level. That Raymond guy. Whew. Look at this. See, they only had 4 levels. They only had 4 levels thought. No, Ray's going 5.
But I also worry because while there is the emphasis in red of rising action, there was also the specifications that there needed to be a lead up, but that was if they were going to make a Hydra.
Yeah. And then, you know, it looks like a whopping 2 minutes later after writing, they decided Hydra is part of the game. Okay?
Hydra's part of the game.
Hydra is part
gotta have a Hydra.
Hydra is
and we're
part
not
of the
going to
game.
use animation cycles for it.
No.
And you're going to be a slave, and then you're going to become a gladiator, and then you're going to become a general, and then somehow you become emperor. I don't know how,
That's
but
how it
maybe
works.
when you kill the Pegasus.
But you're going to do that all in 2 rounds. That first round is going to be easy, but that second round.
But you do need 3 shots on the training ramp.
And we got to make
one thing.
We have to make sure we tell the player. We got to make sure you tell the player to shoot that training ramp.
Someone
3
should
times.
make a rising action T-shirt. I think, you know, just
Rising
like
action
just a line.
to Hydra.
Well, Joel does do some graphic design. I've seen him work up some stuff. I think.
You know,
I think I
Come
would
on,
probably
Joel.
buy a shirt that said
Rising action.
"Rising Action" and then Hydra at the top.
I can make this happen. Okay, this is my issue. Okay, I've made a few pinball T-shirt designs.
I'd also probably buy a shirt if you had a picture of a Pegasus and a caricature
right.
of Raymond
Picture on
feeding
there.
it an apple.
2 apples. 2 apples.
Two
round,
apples. Oh,
round
yes, 2
2.
apples.
Round 2 is 2
And
apples.
I want rising action from the one
Yeah.
apple to the other apple.
Rising,
Yeah.
writing action height. God, that's my only issue with is pinball merch doesn't sell as much as you think. I've made a few T-shirt layouts, and
It's not about the money.
it's not.
If we
no.
wanted money, we'd do this
Yeah.
behind Patreon.
Marv. So this is a
Exactly.
gladiator game, and no, this was the gladiator game. Yep. Remember when Russell
Yeah.
Crowe became emperor?
Yes, I remember reading about this in the slide deck, and I thought
Yeah.
this is the entire plot as they had on the slide deck to the movie Gladiator. They just don't want to pay for Gladiator, which I don't even know how expensive it would necessarily be, as old as that movie is. It did win Best Picture though, so.
What
But
go ahead.
I don't.
So I
There's
think
so many cool things, and shooting the library was not one of
Of
them.
takes to use, yeah.
I'm just imagining this Conan poring over books on how many apples it takes to win over a Pegasus.
You know, I just I feel like Robert maybe has never seen Gladiator. So somebody was like, "Hey, we're gonna have Gladiator," and he's like, "Hey, there should be a Hydra in that game." They're gonna be like, "What?" And
Here's what
so,
I think. I think he may have seen as much as the slide deck seemed to follow it. I think he did, and then I think he saw Black Knight Sword of Rage and was like, "I want that Hydra."
but
I want mine to be real.
That's
We're
what-
gonna do live action.
live action.
And I
But-
just imagine John Norris and Barry Osler all had little heads. They had to put a little Hydra heads. You know, they had to take a break from their Octo manufacturing. They were going to have to just kind of move around like little Hydra heads.
But that's what I think. It's like he throws
Steve Bowden chucking apples at him.
he throws out that suggestion of, "Hey, there should be a Hydra," and they're like, "Oh, funny," and he goes, "No, really, there should be a Hydra." And then the design team actually goes off, and they're like, "Okay, seriously, guys." We need to determine if we're going to make a Hydra. Like, if we're actually going to make Robert Height, that's point number 1. If this actually has to be in the game, how do we lead up to it? And they go from there.
I'll give you another interesting scenario. I want you to look at this whiteboard again, but now imagine someone else, it doesn't matter who, someone on Deep Root staff did all the blue, Robert's the red.
Exactly. Guys, he comes in, he's like, time for me to throw in my inspirational, like I'm gonna throw in my part to the
And at the one point where he's probably figuring out the 30 million that they're gonna need to pay for the real Hydra, that's when he put in limited mythical creatures.
Limited
creatures.
Whoa.
We can't go all out on the
We gotta limit
Minotaur.
this here.
We've got a Hydra.
Yeah, Robert comes in there, pops that cap off the marker. He's like, all right, hey, if that Hydra's gonna be in there, we got to make sure we got some rising at. We got to build up to that Hydra.
The wizard mode is the Hydra. Maximus is going to finally fight the Hydra to be reunited with his family as Emperor of Rome.
Okay, this T-shirt's happening, man. Rising action, Hydra. Bam. Okay,
Hydra.
it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
TM. You better TM that sucker.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you leave it to just that Rising Action Hydra, or do you throw like how to make a pinball machine, or like?
I think
just
the
that.
line Rising Action and Hydra.
Done.
Hydra.
Done. What? Yeah, that's the front. What goes on the back though? Do we put Hydra as part of the game on the back? Do you put limited mythical creatures?
Mythical creatures.
If I were doing the back, I would say first round's easy, second round's
hard. Done. Done. All right, I will make this happen, and we will
bring them to TPF.
Hey Raymond, you in for one of these, man? Ray's getting this shirt.
I think he still would have preferred you doing his Apple.
Yeah. Raymond's in on this shirt. He knows the secret to coding a pinball machine right here. The best part would be if somebody had this shirt and they wore it and Steve Bowden saw it. Right?
I would probably ask if he wouldn't mind signing it.
Yeah, if he's like sees that and he goes, "That's familiar. Why is that familiar?" Yeah. All right.
And I want to know if Steve was going to have to be one of the Hydra heads, or if he got to throw the apples at it for the live action sequence that they were going to film for this.
Round 2, 2 apples. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else here? Nap Arcade. Thanks again, Jason Knapp, for doing this. We talked a little bit. We're in the middle of talking about Weird Al when everything fell apart. Being my stream, that is.
Is Nap the new TWIP here? Like, there's a lot of good stuff on this website.
Here's the deal, right? If we go to This Week in Pinball, what do we have? They're advertising the award show. March, they gave away some stuff, and then they have, that's it. They just announce giveaways, and they announce new games. So in my mind, if you want, nothing against Jeff and This Week in Pinball, but he's obviously stepped away. If you want like up-to-date info,
what's going on?
I think Nap Arcade, dang Twippies.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things there.
I have three news sites bookmarked. I have This Week in Pinball, I have Nap Arcade, and I have Pinball News. And Nap Arcade just has the most content.
Yeah.
At this point, and it used to be This Week in Pinball did, and now This Week in it's going back through that. When you were on their page, they didn't even denote Barry Osler's death. They have his hiring at American Pinball, but there was no piece about him. Even Pinball News had that. And Pinball News is not particularly frequent with a lot of their information. So it's just these things change. Though it's a lot of work for people to do. So I'm not particularly surprised that there's been a shift up. And we knew Jeff did say he was wanting to. I think he originally used the word hiatus, and he's clearly not doing a hiatus in the sense that he's still putting out deep dives. So he's still providing content. And I do like the deep dives, but now I go to Nap Arcade's page to check out on especially because I'm a podcaster, and as you know, it's the easiest thing to do in the hobby. So with my low effort engagement, I like going to one site to find most of the news I might have missed off of the forums. The only problem is I start feeling bad when I've dropped my fourth link to his site. So sometimes I'll try and find like one direct link to Buffalo doing Weird Al. So I feel like I've given some diversity. I'm not totally reliant on just one provider, but
that's a good point. Oh, you're right. Here's the Whirlwind 2.0. Yeah, totally different.
Now that's C Indeed. Purportedly, I read that on Pinside. I think in the Totan thread that Planetary did hit them with a cease and desist. So. Now that's not legally binding. They can ignore it if they so choose. It depends if Whirlwind's staying a home. Like if it's a homebrew, I don't see how they could do anything. If there's any plan to provide code, it comes down to what does the kit have? Is it using any licensed assets? If it's not, and bear in mind, I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving legal advice, but they might be able to operate without doing an arrangement. But if there's a reliance on anything in the Bally Williams license set, then you do have to strike a deal with Planetary.
Yeah, good point. And I mean, I would hope. I mean, if it's good, I would hope he would, because there's a lot of Whirlwind owners out there that would.
I guess it
probably
was
jump
at
on
a
it.
show. I don't know if anyone I don't know if anyone in chat played it. Obviously I've never played it, and I don't think it's going to be at TPF. So
Yeah,
in fact, I don't know if anything's going to be at TPF other than
Toten.
Weird Al. I mean, in theory, maybe Mirko will have the Totem
I thought.
there. I mean,
think
he's doing a seminar.
Yeah, I think they've said there will be one there, but I would hope there would be a what is it, Rudy's Nightmare, a Funhouse 2.0, but.
Oh yeah, from that's from Pedretti.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. If only there was a Toy Story though, like we were promised.
That's unfortunate. I was definitely looking forward to playing that. I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll start wrapping it up here. So with TPF, I know Craig, obviously you're not going, which is a bummer. Maybe there's always next year. Maybe Chicago. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll head to
exactly.
Chicago.
Exactly.
But Dennis, is there anything in particular that you're like, I need to make sure I set aside time to play X when I'm there?
Only Weird Al.
Yeah.
I try and use the shows to play any of the new stuff, especially if it's new stuff that we're not going to get locally, and we won't get a P3 on location. That's I mean, I know there are some locations that have P3s, but I've not heard anyone in any of our operators in the area talking about planning to do it. So
Okay.
Whereas normally, if it's a Stern, we'll definitely get it. If it's a JJP, we'll probably get it. And after that, it's sort of hit or miss. Like lately, I mean, we had Hot Wheels. We don't really get any spooky stuff ever since. Well, we had TNA. There was a one, but that was picked up used and then brought in. So it just depends. I mean, we have different operators now than we did back in the day, so I can't really hold them all to the old. But long story short, yeah, that's pretty much it. I might try some of the 2.0 kits, but I don't view those in the same. Like to me, they're not the same level of news. Quite frankly, like because 2.0 kits are not going to be. I look through the lens of location play, and those aren't going to be on location play. So
Sure.
But it's not a question of just like our location will get them. It's just like that's a homeowner thing, is how I view it. So obviously you could use them on location as long as the coin drop works on the system. But so that's pretty much it. Otherwise, not a lot.
Sure. Yeah,
we've had other dead TPFs though without any big reveal, so that's not atypical. You meet a lot of people at TPF, which is
people.
That's
things. Absolutely the main reason I'm going.
That's the thing.
And they have I mean, compared to Expo, the quantity of games there is incredible. If you've they usually have a very substantial EM section where there's no wait, so you can try a lot of games you've probably never experienced. And then some of it is like a lot of showboating. Is how I don't mean it in an offensive way, but it feels like a lot of people with money like to bring their nice machines and kind of show them off there. So you can usually find some really stellar examples of 90s games, for example, that have just been restored.
Nice. No, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Ramrod, Ian, how you doing, buddy? Is TPF going to be? No, I'm not playing the tournament at TPF. If I walk in the tournament area, it'll be to find Travis and give him a hard time. Maybe say hey to Ray or something. But Craig, I know you said earlier that pretty much you've only been playing Avengers for the last 2 years. So if you could snap your fingers and you could have access to any game right now to try out, is there one that you're just dying to try or to like spend a half an hour on if you had the ability to?
New game or I would like to try a P3 game because I don't know when I'd ever get to try one of those. I don't know anybody in this neck of the woods that has a P3. So I think it'd be fun just to experience it.
Sure.
I would like to try some of the older games. Like I'm fascinated with a game like Bonsai Run, which again, I've never heard of up in this neck of the woods either. So I'm dying to get my hands on one of those machines and try that. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. I think those tournaments are not tournaments. Those these conventions are just great for the amount of people in the community that come together and people that you wouldn't ordinarily see, but you maybe connect with them online. So it's going to be a ton of fun, and you get to see lots of cool games and the vendors too that all come together, and so you're
Yeah.
going to get access to all the accessories and cool swag. I mean, it's going to be
That'll
awesome,
be fun.
I'm sure.
I'm a
Yeah.
little nervous about
You're gonna
that
come
though.
home with a ton of stuff.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the problem.
Joel's gonna probably buy every mod for Deadpool there is.
Oh, it's a great game. I don't know if you knew that. It's a great game. Yeah. No,
I've heard that.
the issue is getting him back on a plane. That's what
Yes.
I know Scott from Loser Kid had a very interesting story of having to explain what a shooter rod was to a TSA officer.
Well,
so
just check it.
A katana or something like
I
that.
could. Yeah, but I can't really check 2 sheets of playfield glass. I mean, or I could. I don't think I would.
Why do you need playfield glass?
When you stream, you should know this, but the Invisiglass or whatever, or the Voodoo Glass actually does a pretty good job of cutting down glare for cameras. But maybe
okay.
what's funny is I'm at that space where I can have 4 games. So I have 4 games. I'm kind of maxed out. So now all of a sudden, instead of looking at saving money to buy a 5th game, it's like, well, should I just make the version of my game better? I don't know. Maybe it's a first world problem. Buy an extra sheet of some Invisiglass might be cheaper than shipping. Yeah, I need to figure that out because I was hoping to find somebody that was driving back that could potentially bring them, but we'll see. But yeah, if any of the people listening are at TPF, I know I'll be there. Dennis will be there. Come say hey. Yeah, I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. Should be a good.
There's going to be a TPN booth, isn't there?
There will be a TPN booth. I
go.
think we're trying to find if we can borrow a game because I know like George Don't Flip is bringing some of his streaming stuff, so we'll try to stream when we're there.
Bring snacks. Those are always welcome.
Oh yeah. If anybody wants to feed me in any way, I'm in. So just bring the food. I will eat it. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So I don't know. Is anything else that you guys want to? Oh, here's a question for you, Craig. If Zach called you up and said, "Hey, I can drop off either your Deadpool or you're not Deadpool, your Godzilla Premium or your Rush Premium on Monday, which one do you want?"
See, I've gone back and forth in my head about that as well because I keep thinking, I really want to play Rush, but like, Godzilla's the best game they've ever made, and I think at the end of the day, I should take the Godzilla because I know that game, it's number 1 for a reason, and it's fantastic, and I think the theme integration is amazing. The shots are amazing. But I'm like, I really want to hear that music and have a music pin, is going to be awesome, especially that band. So it's tough. I'm going to be thrilled whichever one gets the call first. I started writing out a note.
Yeah, he's
so
if he picks Godzilla, they're kicking him out of the country. He knows it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why don't you just say I'm Canadian? I kind of have to do Rush. Plus, I would have thought it would be an easy pick for you since you already have an Elwyn game in the house.
Ray, very diplomatic answer. Yeah.
Yeah. I suspect I'll get the call about Rush first, but I don't know, just because I know Godzilla has been so popular that I figure I'm way down the list in terms of and I waited longer to contact a distributor about, so that list has to be way long versus Rush.
Craig,
anyway, who knows?
We need you to tell Ray, feel free to look straight in the camera. We need you to tell Ray directly to his face you're not going to pick his game. That's fine. Just tell him honestly, Yeah.
It's the greatest game ever coded. Ever.
Yeah. Well, Dennis, you have
get down to the factory and get it made, Ray.
Dennis, you are a new owner of Godzilla Premium. Do you feel that the hype is warranted? I mean, are you?
Well, obviously, only being the second best coded game by Stern, without Raymond's input, in any significant fashion, at least. It's. I mean, is it number 1 ever? It's awfully early to make that particular call, but the layout's unique. The rules are still being developed, but I think it's approachable, but there's a lot of challenge to what you want to try and do, what you want to try and stack. So I just I think it works really well. I think it's Elwyn's best game of the 4 he's had,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it plays to, I like 3 flipper games. That's what he went with. I didn't really know the theme, but very well, but the just being able to go and like, all right, shoot this ramp, and then you go to the scoop, and that's how you start the monster. So it's clear cut, like how I want to be able to do the progression. The multi-balls are all pretty clear.
Yeah.
There is I don't like to use a lot of cliched expressions, but there's a lot near the start button. So it does not feel like I know a lot of people love it. I never got into Metallica. I always felt like I was chopping wood forever to do anything with it. And whereas with this, it's like it's 3 shots away to start a kaiju.
Yep.
I just have to make those shots.
Yeah, and you got four to pick from.
And it's not very many shots away to start Mechagodzilla. And it's not very many shots to lower the building and do the ball lock, which that is a pretty cool ball lock mechanism.
Yeah.
Though watching the building and waiting for it to fall every single time. Maybe if I always activate the multi-ball, I'd be like, maybe I'm going to go virtual just because it is about a 15-second process to watch the building actually going up and down to the beat of the music. And then it starts to crumble.
I wonder if they would add a fast crumble option.
We don't want to burn out that, it's using a timing belt, and we don't want to burn that belt out too early. 2
of them are whamps. Yeah. Do you have a complaint? Is that your complaint? The dropping the building is kind of long, or do you have
Sure. Oh, you want me to trash it? Okay. There are a few
this
things.
Is the part that
I've had multiple instances where the game has gotten confused with the building ball lock, which is very annoying. I had one instance where it seemed to forget that I had a ball locked there, or no, I didn't have a ball locked there, and it gave me another ball. I had 2 balls, one in the shooter lane, and so I drained one, and it ended my turn.
Ooh.
So that was a weird glitch. In term mechanically, I've had ball hangups around the carousel for the Mechagodzilla. Like if you soft plunge, but you don't soft plunge enough for it to hit the Yep, and you have to wait for it to do a clear. And that's I've actually done that a lot of times. So
I've seen
it's like there's some design things I could say that could have been worked out a little better.
There's I've read that on the owners forum that there are a few people that have different thoughts on adding a little piece to behind the carousel to avoid that type of ball hang up. But
I have not had this happen, but I do know there's another issue where sometimes when you shoot that really cool kind of ramp up to hit the Mechagodzilla, so you hit that really hard, it can fly behind Mechagodzilla and it gets stuck behind his arm on top of a plastic, and there's no ball search that can clear that. And I did actually take my ball and look to see, is his arm going to be a problem if that were to happen? And yes, it would be. I guess someone on Pinside just used a heat gun and heated his arm and reforged Mechagodzilla, so he's waving his little metal hand to try and avoid that. But most of the stuff has been related. When I've had malfunction, it's been mostly related to the building the ball with the ball lock in particular. Had an instance on the prior code set where the balls were locked and it was another player playing, and it got confused and it dropped the building like it was going to start the multi-ball, even though they hadn't qualified it, and it just dumped them all and ended their turn. It was weird.
So with all that said, would you still recommend the premium over the pro to a potential buyer?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah. You're playing.
If you like the toy, if you want the toys, the pro is fun. I mean, we have the pro on location. The pro's fun.
Yeah.
If you don't want to deal with the finickiness of the mechs and stuff, the pros I think is a good option. But it's just so cool to have the rotating carousel and the tummy grab with the Mechagodzilla and a building that changes the diversion based off of what level it's ready for. It's a visual treat like that. And and of course the bridge. It's cool to hear it go clicky 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 clicky.
Yeah. So with all that said,
like clicks.
Craig is gonna go rush. Okay. Craig's gonna go. I'm with you. I mean, I borrowed.
You now sold me.
I borrowed the pro, and I enjoyed the heck out of the pro. And that to me is if I'm enjoying the pro, if I enjoyed the pro as much as I did, I know adding those mechs to the premium would only add. It would only add to the experience. So, but
I did see Raymond asked in the chat about if I played 9.3. You probably missed the part early in the prior video we had worked on. I took, or maybe I did that before we were on air. I had that install through Insider Connected. Oh, that I can't blame that on Godzilla, but let me give another complaint. Holy crap, is that download slow through that system? So that it took 5 hours to download 0.93, and I have 100 megabit down up on my internet. That was not the issue.
yeah.
And so I installed it yesterday, and I put 5 games on it today before we started recording. So yes, and I did activate some power-ups. And the power-ups I was given were lame, so tell Keith to give me better power-ups at the start.
Nope, it's gone. I had it. I had a thought.
You had a power-up thought? You had
it was
a
lame.
CERN Insider Connected download thought?
It was lame. Oh, shaker motor. Zach sent you a shaker motor. Did you put it in?
No.
He sent you a shaker motor. Didn't put it in the game. Is that
no, not yet?
Is that on principle, or you
No,
just don't?
no. I mean, it was kind of because I didn't buy it. It was kind of him to do, but no. I mean, I like shaker motors. It's just I haven't felt like lifting it and doing it.
I would.
It's just laziness.
Okay.
And here's part of the logic, Joel. Part of the logic is if I pick up any mods at TPF, I'm gonna have to pull the glass and do those anyway. So might as well wait.
That's fair.
Was the thought.
Are there any particular Godzilla mods you?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't know what there are. What are out there aside from like speaker lights. I don't know what they've got.
Okay.
I haven't looked.
Okay.
I'm gonna be surprised.
Ooh. I would highly suggest the flaming building speaker lights.
The
those
flames.
are incredible. But
I also want to, maybe Measle or someone might have some. I've never done anything with my Walking Dead, and I've thought about looking for some stuff for that too. I do have the shaker motor for Walking Dead. I guess I've done that.
The shaker motor in Godzilla is incredibly well done. The like stomp any big sound. It's very well done.
It's not. The one issue I had when I put the shaker motor in Walking Dead is you could adjust the frequency of how often it would trigger, but you couldn't adjust the strength of the shaker, and it was way too powerful. I actually got a switch that you can use to moderate the amount of electricity that flows to the shaker, and like spliced it in so I could turn it down.
I didn't even know that was a thing, because that's
well, Sam's system didn't allow you to tweak the amount of electricity going to the there's not like a knob or anything.
Yeah, but even in a modern Stern,
and the software doesn't do it.
I know modern Stern, there's like 2 or 3. It's like low, off, or normal. I mean, it's very, very low.
Well, and if it's well integrated, it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, on high or moderate with Walking Dead, like the whole glass would shake. Like you can't play Bloodbath without the whole thing being like giving me tilt warnings. It was so bad.
Out, yeah.
So yeah, it was
interesting. All right. Well, it is 12:40.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think
this
Craig,
it's like
later.
3 a.m. his time.
I know.
Well, I'm really sorry. If anybody stuck, I know Ray messaged me. If anybody stuck through, sorry about the mishap. Blame my router. I don't know. I almost never have that. You have to adjust the weights. Yeah, I've heard about that. So the weights on the shaker motor are offset, so you can actually turn them a little bit, and if you get them more in sync. But,
you can, and that was what I was going to do. But the ability to control the like these are boards used for all sorts of stuff, so it wasn't like a pinball specific thing. It was so easy to do that I just did that instead.
Yeah, Dakota Mike, good seeing you, buddy. We'll wrap it up. Plugs, Craig. I don't know if you have any plugs. Go for it.
Yeah, well, you can hear me on the Pinball Show every week with Dennis and Zach, and I do the Stern News on the on that particular podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate you for doing that. And Dennis, plug away, man.
Well, assuming the Pinball Show keeps going, I don't know with Zach, it might be dead. But I typically host on that every other week, and then the opposite
Rising Action.
Rising Action. We can see if we're going to rise to that. And then on the off weeks, I host a pinball and video game podcast called Eclectic Gamers Podcast, and you type either of those names in Google, you'll find them.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm Joel. I do Triple Drain podcast. Feel free to listen to that. We actually recorded, Travis and I recorded an episode just a few days ago where we're going over TPF. So if anybody's watching and happens to, they are going to go to TPF, feel free to listen to that on the drive or the plane ride down, especially if you're playing Marv. Yep.
You
Especially if
meant
you're
you
playing
go
the
over the
tournament.
TPF tournament.
There's a small section.
You spend 30 minutes defending your Halloween attacks, and then
maybe 20
an
minutes
hour
of
30
TPF.
going over all the games and skipping the kids tournament, the people who most needed the help.
Figure it out. Yep. Yep. That was I know, Dennis, I know you're a fan. I'm glad you listened to us. I'm glad you support us with the downloads. But yeah, feel free to listen to that. Otherwise, yeah, I'm
Two times speed.
I'm here. Too short. See, Carl's here. Hey, Carl. I eat pinball. Congrats, man, on making partner.
This is a triple combo.
Congratulations on partner.
Yeah,
Carl.
Congratulations. Too short. Yeah, Carl liked it. Yeah. Oh, someone with a verified badge. Yeah, way to go, Carl. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Yeah, sorry this went so late. Internet issues, but hey, here we go. If anybody here in chat will be at TPS, come say hey to me. Come say hey to Dennis. Marv will be there. Travis will be there. Yeah, come say hey. If otherwise, just message Craig. Say hey, miss you, man. Wish you were here.
That's right. I'll be the one viewer on stream, so I will say hello.
Oh, how our streams have fun. Yeah, and Joel's all worried about his Invisiglass. Can't even get his router to work.
Yeah,
What a joke.
Thank you, Dennis.
That's what I'm here for. To
Dude.
be honest.
Yeah, freaking computer or internet issues. Who can we raid? I always forget to raid. Let's raid. We got Hottie. He's doing virtual pinball tonight, though.
Oh, you say that with almost as much scorn as Zach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's not my favorite. It's not bad. Let's raid Pez. Pez is a good guy. Where are we at? All right.
He was on earlier. They were doing, what were they doing? Anyway, can't remember the game.
There we go. I think that started that raid. We will see. But
Yep, it did.
Okay.
We're going in.
I'll mute that. No, unfortunately, the raid takes forever to go.
He was playing
Why?
Tron. That's what he was playing. He was playing Tron.
There we go.
Tron?
So
Isn't that the
back up.
greatest pinball machine ever?
Tron is a good game. Tron is a good game. I think
Second only to Rush.
Fliptronic is actually taking their Tron to TPS, and I think they put only Powerballs, like the ceramic Powerballs, in the game.
You know, I hope there's a Powerball at TPF. I've wanted to buy one for Buck Rogers to see if it maybe makes the game play better.
I know people that put Powerball in TNA. So if you really want to go, if you really want to make your life
No, I'm
even
not
harder.
interested in that. I'm not interested in that. I need it to. Buck Rogers needs some speed though. So I know people have done it with Genie. So that's my
Yeah.
logic.
So is it like a ceramic ball, those power
Yep.
balls? Is that what
Yeah.
that is?
Ceramic
okay.
ball.
ceramic, and it's faster. Like it's weird. It's amazing how different it feels with
Yeah, it's
that-
amazing
that-
how physics works, huh, Joel? How weird this is. This material with a different weight and
Oh.
composition behaves.
Maybe I'm just easily amazed. Is that the problem? But
It's not a problem. It is merely what is.
What if that's the rush fix? Avoid damage to the
Yeah.
scoop by just swapping all the balls out with and maybe they'll send spares.
Cotton
like
balls.
yeah.
Little cotton balls. And Joel's flipping them, and he's like, "These feel so different."
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, not as good as
Yeah.
Deadpool, but
And there
still.
goes the raid. The raid just happened on that. Yeah.
Took
Wow.
forever.
I know.
Good, because I could only vamp so long.
All right. If anybody's still here, hey, yeah, Travis said maybe we could trade Joel to TPS for Dennis. I don't know if you're up for that trade. Yeah, talk to Travis. But
I thought
all
he
right,
was going over to the Loser Kid.
yeah, we're gonna stop the stream. I appreciate everybody that's still here.